Now, this month, ICE and federal agents surged in Minneapolis, about 2,000 additional officers for an immigration crackdown following reports of large-scale fraud by the Somali community there. I will discuss the law on excessive force and potential criminal prosecution and civil lawsuits in this video. But before that, I'll say that the lady in Minneapolis, Renee Nicole Good, put herself in a dangerous situation by trying to impede ICE. Now, she was an activist, part of an ICE watch group. Let's watch how she died. And here's what happened literally 3 minutes before she was killed. Okay, she had parked her car in the middle of the street to disrupt ICE. She sat in the driver's seat, blaring the horn for 3 minutes. One witness reported she was dancing in her seat. Let's watch that. And here's the slow-mo. So these videos raise a question. Was she crazy? Was she unaware of the danger she was in? Or was she aware and was this suicide by cop? Now here's the cell phone video from the ICE officer who shot and killed her, Jonathan Ross.
I'm not mad. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Whoa.
Renee Nicole Good was 37, married twice before with 3 children. She had married a third time, and that was her wife Rebecca in the video as well. She's the lady who confronted ICE with her cell phone. Now, the ICE officer who shot and killed her might turn out to have qualified immunity, which means he would not be able to be sued for money damages in a civil lawsuit. Now, qualified immunity protects government officials from being sued when they act reasonably in the course of their official duties. Reasonable means not plainly incompetent and not acting intentionally to violate someone's constitutional rights. Now, in this case, Renee Nicole Good's family or estate might allege that the officer violated her Fourth Amendment right to be free from an unreasonable seizure of her person that resulted in her death. So if Jonathan Ross is found not to have been plainly incompetent in performing his law enforcement duties and didn't act with intent to violate her Fourth Amendment rights, he's protected from a civil lawsuit under qualified immunity. And that's just the civil side. The FBI is conducting an investigation, and the DOJ ultimately will decide whether to prosecute the ICE officer criminally. But what about the state of Minnesota? Well, the Supremacy Clause of the U.S. Constitution can prevent states and localities from prosecuting federal officers for actions they believed were necessary and proper to carrying out their federal duties, and ICE is a federal agency. A judge would have to find that Officer Ross's actions in using deadly force were objectively unreasonable and clearly outside the scope of his federal duties before Minnesota can prosecute. Now, what's considered clearly outside the scope? Well, if his actions are found to be malicious, clearly unwarranted, or a departure from established norms. Okay, do we have that here? The feds are signaling no, because the FBI is investigating the case and not sharing evidence with the state of Minnesota. The feds also have said that Minnesota lacks jurisdiction. That's a reference to the Supremacy Clause. So, the feds are saying essentially they believe the officer acted reasonably and wasn't so plainly incompetent incompetent, or intentionally malicious that a state criminal prosecution would be permissible. Are the feds right about that? Let's go to the video clip.
No! No! Shame! Shame! Oh my fucking...
So let me back up the video here a bit. There. Okay. ICE officer Jonathan Ross is here in front of the car. These two officers are to the side of the car. Now, folks have been critical of Jonathan Ross. Why would he stand in front of the car, placing himself at risk? Now, as the car pulls forward, he takes out his firearm. There. Right there, he pulls out his firearm. Now, the car clips him as it goes past, and he fires 3 shots. Okay, so when he's in front of the car and fires the first shot, that looks like self-defense. He's in fear for his life. The next part, okay, look at this. Here, he fires 2 more shots. So at that point, the danger to him is past. Why fire into the car? Now, he could have been trying to protect others in the vicinity. They're on a residential street, and she's speeding away. She could have hit pedestrians. Now, the case from the Supreme Court of the United States is Graham v. Connor, okay, which established the standard of objective reasonableness in analyzing excessive force cases, taking into account the severity of the crime, immediate threat, active resistance, etc. Now, this OIE site has the oral argument audio as well as the court's opinion. Now, events leading up to the use of force, and not just the moment of threat, are all part of the objective reasonableness analysis. According to a recent case, Barnes v. Felix, now this is a fleeing suspect case as well, so the analysis takes into account the totality of the circumstances from the perspective of a reasonable officer without the benefit of 20/20 hindsight. Now, could an officer acting reasonably have done what ICE officer Jonathan Ross did? Now, officers make life or death decisions in the blink of an eye. They don't always get it right, but they're expected to act reasonably from an objective, not subjective standard, meaning what would seem reasonable based on industry norms and legal precedent, not what seemed reasonable to any particular officer. And sometimes acting reasonably in the moment means using deadly force against a suspect who turns out not to be dangerous if the officer couldn't have known that at the time. A mistake, in other words. As we watched in the video, the use of force occurred in split seconds, so that's also part of the analysis.
No!
Okay, now some folks have said he shouldn't have placed himself there, right in front of the car, and my focus is on this moment. The use of force at this point, if objectively reasonable, would have to be to protect others in the vicinity since the danger is past him. And it looks to be a busy residential street. Did she have a weapon? Was she Antifa? Was it objectively reasonable to assume that those things could be a factor? Folks have also said, well, why couldn't he just shoot out the tires? Again, it's a totality of the circumstances analysis, and we don't have all the facts yet. Now, based on what we have now, his actions in firing those shots at a fleeing suspect seem objectively reasonable to protect others in the vicinity. Now, here's a final clip of the aftermath in which a man who says he's a physician isn't permitted to attend to the victim. Let's watch.
I go check a pulse.
No! Back up! Now!
I'm a physician.
Hey, listen, we understand. We got EMS coming. I get it. Just give us a second. We have medics on scene. We have our own medics.
Where are they? Where are they? How can I relax? You just killed my neighbor. You caught butter in the face. You killed my neighbor. How do you show up to work every day? How the do you do this every day? You're killing my neighbors. You're stealing my neighbors. What the man?
Renee Nicole Good didn't die at the scene. Now, apparently EMS couldn't get to her for 15 minutes because of cars blocking the street. I wonder if it was ICE vehicles or activist vehicles blocking the street. Maybe both? She died at the hospital. If it turns out that ICE officer Jonathan Ross has qualified immunity and can't be sued for money damages, then her family or her estate might consider suing the activist group that sent her out there. Now, the activist group obviously encouraged her to impede and harass ICE. Now, maybe she had to sign a liability waiver to be part of the group. I'll continue to follow this case and report on major updates. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.